Okay, do you want to try now?
You there, Jackie?
Hey, Ken.
Yeah, Jennifer.
So I'm not sure what happened. I went to start the meeting and it was telling me it was expired.
I saw that.
So I went and like rescheduled it for 7:30 and it let me in. So I don't know what happened.
Code, right? Is it the same? Yeah, it's the same meeting code.
Yeah, it was the same meeting code, but I don't know if we could restart this meeting knowing that we're 18 minutes late. And I don't have Vadia's number. I don't have anybody else's number, and it's two of us.
I do. I'm actually chatting with everybody. But I told the applicant it was canceled too. Hang on. Video
Okay.
jumping on.
See if they're willing to jump back on.
I don't know if we can.
There's
Oh,
Vadia.
there's video.
Yeah. You're muted.
Got in, thank goodness. I was trying to figure out if there's a way around this.
So I have a question, Vidya, and with Open Meetings Act, when a meeting doesn't start and 25 minutes pass, and then it's all of a sudden starts. I mean, are we in compliance still if we can get the applicant and James on, or are we running into a questionable area? I don't want anything with this deal questionable.
Neither do I.
No.
I've never had a meeting start this late, so I'm really not sure with Robert's Rules of Order, but if he did not formally cancel it, I think it should be okay. But if you'll give me a minute, I can call one of my colleagues who's a pro on Robert's Rules of Order. I will call right now.
Let's do that. I did communicate to the applicant that it was canceled, but I can always call them back.
Okay, give me just 2 minutes. I'm going to mute myself and call right now.
Okay.
We need Greg on here or one of the other. We need one more board member here.
I know.
I'm going to hang up with you, Jennifer.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, yes.
As we were talking. Let me see if I can get Greg.
I already sent Greg and Brad and Scott a message.
Okay.
Oh, I don't have actually Greg's text. I can't text Greg. I texted Brad and Scott.
I think, let's try to get the applicant on if we can.
Yeah, I'm working on that right now.
1 minute.
It does not violate Robert's Rules of Order. You can start the meeting. As long as it wasn't formally canceled, we can go
Hi,
ahead.
this is Ken Dignan again. Are you guys available to jump on? They seem to have resolved this. Okay. I'm gonna give Eric a quick call again, okay? Yes, it is. It is. I'm working on getting a quorum and I'll call him right now and let him know, okay? Thank you, yep. Bye. Okay, the applicant should be calling in.
Okay, good.
Or actually, the applicant's representative.
Okay, I'm
Yeah,
gonna, I got Sandy's number, so I'll call Sandy. Okay, Greg said yes, he's jumping on.
Mr. Gustafson is also here.
Hello.
Good evening.
Hi, Scott. Brad's on.
Wow, Ken's in a really fancy library.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay,
Anybody else out there?
yeah, this is Jackie. And Greg should join us shortly.
Jennifer, are you still on? Hang on 1 second.
Yes.
Do you have a dial-in number that I can provide the applicant to dial into?
Yep. Give me just a second.
I'll give it to you.
Oh,
got
do you have it,
Thanks,
Jackie?
Yeah, 312.
Hello,
312.
can you hear me? This is Greg.
Yep,
Yep,
626
626
6799.
6799.
And then the webinar ID number.
6799, and then there's a webinar ID I need you to enter. Go ahead, Jackie, you got it?
951
951
4970
4970
4268.
4268. Okay. All right. Yes.
All right.
Yep, we
Ken,
are
can
on.
you hear me, Greg?
Yep, yeah, I can hear
Okay.
you.
All right, thanks, bye. All right, the applicant will be on in a moment as well. Who are we missing?
We got Greg, we have Brad, we have Scott, me, you. Who else are we missing? Is there anybody from the applicant that needs to be here or?
And who is last 4 digits of the phone number 8342? Who is that?
That's Greg Kalecki.
Greg. Okay. I'm gonna rename him.
Yeah, rather than his phone number.
Yeah. So we can all prank you.
Well, give me a good name.
Yeah, that's true.
Humphrey Bogart.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see.
And then there's a James Korf as an attendee. Is that the applicant?
He's the
Yes.
applicant, yep.
So Ken, if I assign you as the host
Yep,
and leave
that's
the
fine.
meeting, you know all the controls and all that?
Yep.
Okay. I apologize for the difficulties. I don't know really what happened there. I'm glad
all
we
right.
were able to
We're
get
on.
it.
We're on. That's
All right.
That's, all right. So are you making
Have
me a
good
co-host
evening,
or?
guys. Yep, I'm gonna make you the host actually, and I'm gonna take off.
And we have Eric and James on as well.
Great.
Okay.
All right, hang on.
Good.
James, can you hear us?
I can hear you, yes. Can you hear me?
Okay,
Yes.
I can hear you.
Okay.
Yes.
Eric, can you hear us?
Yes.
All right, excellent. If you guys just want to hang back here for a minute, we're going to commence with our procedural stuff to get this meeting
Okay.
moving. I appreciate you're sticking with us here, and I apologize for the technical issues. So let me call to order the Northfield Township Zoning Board of Appeals meeting for October 19th at 7:30 p.m.
Yeah.
We're going to dispense with the Pledge of Allegiance and go straight to the roll call. And if we could get a roll call, please.
Okay, I don't know who's there yet.
All of us are here.
All of
I
us
can do
are
the,
here.
I can do the roll call.
Okay,
Jackie Otto,
Present.
Greg Kolecki,
present.
Brad Kuzno,
Here.
Scott Gustafson,
Present.
and I am present. We do have a quorum. Next is adoption of the agenda.
I move to adopt the agenda as presented.
Motion by Otto. I'll support that. Supported by Dignan. Any questions on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. Move on to correspondence. There are none. And then under public hearings, I'll make a motion to open public hearings for case JZBA 200004 for Eric Patterson and Terra Firma located at 6410 Whitmore Lake Road. The applicant is proposing to conduct a landscaping business on the site and proposes to construct a gravel parking lot when the ordinance requires an asphalt or concrete parking lot. The parcel is zoned limited industrial district, and the parcel is B0229200003 and 004. Is there support for opening that public hearing?
I'll
Support.
support.
Okay, motion by Diggins, supported by Otto. Discussion. All right, hearing none, I'll do a roll call vote. Otto,
Yes.
Gustafson,
Yes.
Kolecki,
Yes.
Kuzno,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Okay, let's start with Vidya. Would you mind bringing us through your report, and then we'll ask the applicant to fill us in if there's anything that has changed from then.
Sounds good. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the
Thank you.
board.
Yep.
We have reviewed the variance application submitted by Mr. Korf on behalf of Eric Patterson. As you mentioned, the parcel is located in the LI, Light Industrial District, and the applicant's proposal is to operate a landscaping business on the site along with associated outdoor storage. The proposal requires site plan and conditional land use approval from the Planning Commission and the Township Board of Trustees. The improvements include paving of a parking lot on the site, and the applicant's proposal is to construct a gravel parking lot behind the perimeter fence in lieu of an asphalt or a concrete parking lot. This particular change to a gravel lot from an asphalt or a concrete lot requires variance from Article 25 off-street parking and loading requirements, Section 36,762(b)(3). There are specific standards in the ordinance based upon which the board reviews every request for variance. I shall summarize those in brief. The first standard is strict compliance with the ordinance standards would unreasonably prevent the owner from using a property for a permitted purpose or will render such conformity unnecessarily burdensome. Now, the site is to be operated as a landscaping business. The applicant's justification in requesting the variance is that the site is constrained by an existing utility easement that is owned by Consumers Energy, which runs across it. The easement documents that the applicant has provided grants the utility company rights to fully excavate the site as needed for access to the pipes in the ground. The installation of an asphalt or a concrete parking lot would be subject to being torn up every time the utility company needs to access those pipes. The applicant further contends that construction of a permeable surface, which is a gravel parking lot, allows for improved stormwater drainage through infiltration rather than discharging into the existing stormwater system. In a letter dated September 9th of this year, Township's Planning Commission notes that the gravel parking lot is acceptable as long as the township engineer finds it acceptable. And in a letter dated September 9th, also from the township engineer, it has stated that the gravel lot reduces the impervious surface area and the site does provide the required detention. And the engineer too has no objections to the proposed gravel lot. Compliance with the ordinance standards would require construction of a parking lot that is subject to being torn out at any time. The applicant has submitted photographs as recently as 2019, where the entire site has been dug up and the easement is pretty wide. The pipes in the ground are pretty wide, and any surface that is built on there is going to be ripped up, pretty much all of it, in order to get to that easement. The width of the easement and the size of the pipes does make this a major excavation operation. It is not a small, minor digging of a tunnel or a trench. The easement agreement also specifies that the parking lot would have to be removed and replaced at the owner's expense. While financial considerations typically don't have a bearing on the board's decision, in this case, reconstructing a parking lot repeatedly can be construed as being unnecessarily burdensome on a property owner. The second criteria is whether the variance would provide substantial justice to the applicant as well as other property owners. We believe approval of the variance will provide substantial justice to the applicant, since it will allow them to have a lot that meets their needs while allowing for full access for excavation in the event of a need to access the underground utilities, and is not adverse to the interests of other property owners. The township has previously approved other sites with alternate materials, provided engineering concerns were addressed. This request is not setting a precedent, because there is already a precedent for the township approving such similar lots. Is the variance requested the minimum possible? In this case, the variance is to provide a gravel lot instead of an asphalt or a concrete lot. So there is no minimum dimension or deviation to be granted. It's either a yes or a no requirement. The need for the variances, are they due to unique circumstances peculiar to the land? Now, there are no unique circumstances that are peculiar to the land itself. It is a regular shaped industrial parcel. However, there is a constraint on the parcel in the form of a major utility easement across it. And this kind of constraint will be faced by other parcels in the township, which also have this utility traversing through it. It goes across the township, and wherever it crosses, it would be subject to similar limitations. The problem resulting in the need for this variance is not self-created. The applicant has no control over the location of this utility easement, and it is a restriction on the parcel that they have to work with. Whether this applicant or any other user of this parcel, that limitation on the parcel will remain. The gravel parking lot will still provide an adequate drained surface for parking while allowing necessary access to the easement. And finally, the proposed variance is not likely to have any adverse impact on the neighborhood, public health, safety, or welfare. As I mentioned, the township engineer and planner both find the parking lot proposed of gravel surface to be adequate to address the stormwater issues. All other items that are related to circulation, parking, landscaping, and other design elements are being addressed as part of the site plan review. I will reserve my recommendations till after the applicant has presented and if there are any public comments.
Thank you very much. Now, Mr. Patterson or Mr. Korf, do you have anything that you would like to add to the things that Ms. Kirschman has presented?
I think that she, explained the situation that we're dealing with fairly adequately. We knew that the northern portion of the site was going to have fairly limited use. And the only thing that we really could use it for was parking. And in order to use it for parking, we're asking, I guess, for a variance so that we can make it a gravel parking lot so that we're not paying, $100,000 every time they tear it up. They did tear it up in 2019. I included a photograph of the excavation in our application. We did speak to the guys who were doing the excavation in 2019, and they indicated they were most likely going to have to come back next year to do it again. And so putting an asphalt lot in there really doesn't make sense of any kind. I would also say that I do understand, and we're sensitive to the fact that part of the objection to gravel lots is visual. And we do have an asphalt lot that's in front of the office portion of the development. And all of the gravel portions that we're requesting are behind a privacy fence that's 10 feet high. So even if you were driving past, you would never actually see a gravel road because it's all going to be hidden.
Perfect. Okay. As part of the public hearing, the next thing is we would be asking if there was anyone here that would like to speak in favor or object to the requested variance, but seeing that there is no one else that is in the meeting at this time, we can dispense with that. And I'd make a motion to close the public hearing. Is there support?
Support.
I support.
Okay, there's a motion by Dignan. I believe that was support by Kolecki.
Yes.
Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor of closing the public hearing for case JZBA 2000004, say aye.
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 Opposed? None. Motion carried. We'll go on old business. We have none today, and new business. And with that, I'll make a motion in case JZBA 2000004 to approve the requested variance based on the findings of fact documented in the October 8th, 2020 letter from the principal planner, Vidya Krishnan. Is there support?
I'll support.
Support.
Okay, it's a motion by Dignan, support by Otto. Discussion. Anybody have any questions? Any questions for the applicant? Any questions? Yes, Miss Otto.
No, the only thing that I was going to ask is, and they did state it, was there any other areas in the lands drawing or that is paved, and they did explain that. So I'm good with that.
Okay. I'll go
I'd
around.
like,
Mr. Kuzno, do you have any questions?
hello?
Yes. Who
Yeah.
is that?
Yeah.
Anderson.
Eric Patterson here.
Yes.
Yes, I just
Sure, Mr.
wanted
Patterson, go right
to thank everybody tonight for squeezing the meeting in. And I know we initially had some snafus, but do appreciate everybody's effort.
Well, thank you very much. We appreciate that, and I'm glad that you were able to still jump on and we were able to get this moving forward. So let me just go around really quick. Mr. Kuzno, did you have any questions or concerns?
Not really. I was just looking at the meeting minutes from September. Was this actually before the ZBA, before this particular plan?
No.
Yeah.
Okay, I heard yes and no.
Not the same thing, but I think the same company was before us once before.
Okay, so what was the issue then? What was that one?
Ms. Krishnan, do you remember? Or
We did get the property rezoned.
Yes, I am looking up. I do not. Just give me 1 minute.
You don't go to ZBA for rezoning, do you?
No.
No, this project has not been before the ZBA for any other variance. A long time ago, this property was before by the previous owner who challenged an ordinance interpretation. So that was
Well,
that was in
why-
2017. an interpretation of a use on this property was challenged and it appeared before you at the time, but terra firma has not come before you for a variance.
Okay. So I was just reading the where the heck was it now? I can't even find it. Where
Okay.
was the meeting minutes that we're actually supposed to be approving tonight. It makes reference to this thing having been here before.
Oh,
I think that was knowing that they were, hearing that they were supposed to come before us before and they didn't. Because they had come in November, they had been working with the planning commission and there was a lot of discussion back and forth in regards to the timing and whether or not they were to come before us earlier in the year. Ultimately, they had not come before us, but they're here now. And that was essentially what it came down to. There was some real questioning about the timing there.
All right, I was a little confused because I saw that, I mean, there's a statement here that I said something about the planner had discussed with the applicant, the commission should find that a variance was not required, yada, yada, yada. Anyway, so I'm just making sure that I'm on the, I'm not missing
You're on
something.
You got it.
Yeah,
I did see this, so I did see this at the planning commission. I do understand the plight of this petitioner. It makes total sense to me. They're outside of the normal traffic of any public that would be visiting their property. It's only contained within their own fenced area and with their own, vehicles being parked there. So I don't see any problem with this, and I think it's pretty amazing what the pictures have shown as to this the destruction that they did on this site to open up the that pipeline was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Sure, for sure. All right. Thank you, Mr. Kuzno. Mr. Kolecki, do you have any questions or concerns?
No concerns or questions. Just agree with the recommendations and findings of the McKenna Group.
Excellent, thank you. Mr. Gustafson.
Nope, this seemed totally reasonable to me.
Okay, if there's no objection, I'll call the question then. Otto,
Yes.
Kuzno,
Yes.
I vote yes. Mr. Gustafson,
Yes.
Mr. Kolecki.
Yes.
Okay, the variance is granted. Again, we thank you guys for your patience and working with us and allowing us to get you on this evening so that you were able to get a determination from us prior to going to the Planning Commission on Wednesday.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Yep,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yep, well, we're gonna now commence with the remainder of our meeting. You gentlemen are welcome to hang up if you'd like.
No.
Have a good night.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you.
Uh-huh.
Good night.
Thank you.
Yep. All right. So the next item is the approval of the minutes of the September 21st meeting. Does anyone have any questions, concerns, corrections? Yes, Ms. Otto.
I do have corrections then on 6B, Mom's Love. Please, Susan Morris, the location is incorrect on the first page. And then over on 8B, the location is also incorrect. It should be 6140 Whitmore Lake Road in Whitmore Lake.
Okay.
In both of those areas.
Any other corrections? All right, seeing none, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as corrected. So, is there support?
Or
Okay, the motion by Diggins, supported by Kuzno. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? No one opposed. Motion carried. Next is call to the public. We do not have any public at this time. And next is ZBA member comments. I'll go around. Mr. Kolecki?
None for me.
Okay, Mr. Gustafson?
No comments.
Mr. Kuzno?
Get out and vote.
Get out and vote. There you go. And Miss Otto?
I just have one question for Brad. So with this, because I'm sure that we come across, this isn't the first time we've came across where utility pipelines are through a property like this.
Yeah.
Is there any way in the planning commission that we could have something stated that so that an applicant doesn't have to keep coming back to the ZBA each time to get something like this done?
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Ordinance?
This is unusual site, isn't it? That's a narrow site with a very wide easement that goes across it. So I think it's kind of it
Unusual?
feels like a one-off as far as that
Okay.
goes. I was wondering about that myself as to whether or not it's this is just purely going through the motions of satisfying the ordinance by getting this variance, right? I don't know that you can actually, create an ordinance that says that's going to fit any future situation like this. It's going to be one of those
Okay.
weird things. So maybe
And-
Vidya has an idea. Yeah.
And the other question I have, they could never put a building over in that area at all.
No, that would be a violation of the easement agreement that they've got across the property.
Okay.
The zoning ordinance. Mr. Dignam, you're on mute.
Ms. Crispin, can you hang on just one moment?
Okay.
I do have comments as well. One thing I would like to see is, I know that the Planning Commission has exercised their right to waive this requirement in the ordinance in the past. Two situations in particular that come to mind are, unfortunately, both were with organizations directly tied to the township, and that is the waiving of paved requirements for People's Express, and the most recent completely waiving of the paved requirements for the community center. With that in mind, I think that it would be only appropriate that the zoning board send back to the planning commission a recommendation to either look at revamping those ordinances to more clearly define when the planning commission can waive those requirements, or to actually change the requirements. I mean, it's my personal feeling that with us allowing two organizations that are directly tied to the township the right to do that, and then requiring this applicant to pay $800 to come before the zoning board of appeals to essentially do the exact same thing, but that these folks, I felt, had a better case for why they were wanting to not pave it than both People's Express and the senior center. These people actually had an easement. So I find it very unfortunate that a private applicant had to come before us when we're treating our own entities in a different way. So I don't know if you can speak to that, Ms. Christian, or maybe Mr. Kuzno on the Planning Commission, if you'd like to make some comments on that.
Yeah, I'd only ask, I mean, is People's Express truly somehow linked to the township? It's a
Nonprofit.
501c3, but is it really a township entity?
The township
No.
funds them. The township does fund them, though.
Right.
Township's tax dollars do fund People's Express.
Right. Oh, okay.
If I may, I apologize for interrupting, but
No, please.
this is a recorded meeting. I just don't want the township to place itself in some liability position. That said, I agree. The zoning ordinance section that deals with deviating and agreeing to a gravel lot has got one subsection that says it shall be done only on ag parcels. I think that needs to be taken out, and the planning commission needs to be given the discretion to make the decision. And the case that was presented by Mr. Patterson and Mr. Korf today, that could very well have been ruled on by the planning commission because it's a reasonable request. The planning commissioners could have decided, yes, as long as our engineer feels the drainage commitments are met, our planner feels the rest of the design commitments are met, the fence is screening it, there is a utility easement. This is one of the sites where it is okay to have. The ordinance does have flexibility for parking lot, but unfortunately it says only for parcels in the ag district. I think that particular provision
Oh,
needs to be corrected to include any zoning district that the planning commission can act upon.
okay.
Excellent.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
Yeah, if we can just communicate back that they look at that, that would be great. It would be very much appreciated. With that, I do feel like I saw that a couple members came on late that are attendees, and if there's no objection from the ZBA members, I would like to give those in the public an opportunity to call the public, just because they stepped on late. If anyone would like to, if they could just raise their hand at this time, we'll give it one moment to see if there's anyone that is interested in addressing the board at this time. I don't see anyone. Okay, at that, the next meeting of the Zoning Board of Appeals is scheduled for November 16th, 2020. Do we have any prospective applicants at this point in time?
Not at this time, Mr. Dignan. There might be, we still have time for them to possibly submit, but at this time we don't have a case.
Okay. With that, I'd just like to encourage everyone to get out and vote. If you need to, you can go to the township offices and request an absentee ballot. They will give you a ballot right there. You can take home and fill it out and bring it back, or you can fill it out right there and turn it in. With that, I'll make a motion to adjourn. So support. Motion by Dignan, supported by Otto. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. We are adjourned at 7:57 p.m. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Good night.
Thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.